Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I can't wait to leave her without any of her kids since she can't stop using me as a pawn? My mom cheated on her ex-husband, which made him leave her. I was born from the affair, and her ex-husband wanted nothing to do with me, which I totally understand. I do. They had 4 kids together, who were 7 to 14 when I, 17 female, was born. My mom made me think he was my dad for years and tried to get him to take care of me. She got even pushier because their kids rejected me. They rejected her too, but me even more and worse than they rejected her really. She'd try to force her ex and his family, like his parents and siblings, to interact with me. That would happen at their kids' sport games and other events. She dragged me along, tried to sit with them, and lead conversations. All it did was make me feel like crap, because he couldn't hide his disgust for me, and his family didn't hide theirs either. Another issue is my name. She gave me an Italian first name to go with our Italian last name, which is her ex's last name. 2 of their other kids have Italian names he chose, and the other 2 have non-Italian names chosen by my mom. She has admitted she wanted to try and shame him into taking care of me. She's also used my name to try and make it believable to others that he is my real dad. She would tell people he abandoned me because I was so young and he wanted to be done with her faster. When her other kids stopped talking to her, she'd take me to her ex's house and argue with him for letting me get left behind. Sometimes when she did this, the police were called. Other times, he and her kids would stand there arguing, and over I was called the affair kid. It got to me. I cried at times, and even then, my mom would just keep standing there and arguing. My mom eventually gave up, but she still tells people I'm his child. She says I have his name and that my first name is one he chose from his culture and family. It bothers me so much that she won't let it go. I don't have any extended family in my life. I don't know my mom's family and have never been able to find my dad online, if the name she gave me is even correct. She mopes about her kids not talking to her and how she's a grandma who doesn't know her grandkids. She says most of her kids have left her and complains about it. She told me we should be closer, but she says I act like I don't like her. I asked her how she could be surprised and told her I can't wait to leave her like all her other kids did. I said she doesn't deserve to have me stick around when she uses me as a pawn. She got really mad and yelled at me, saying she's all I have, which is true. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, and looking forward to all the amazing adventures ahead of you as you get therapy and build your chosen family as you move forward in life. Her mom's actions have caused immense pain for everyone involved, especially her. Her choices have put OP in a terrible position, and her frustration is completely justified. She is not responsible for fixing her mom's mistakes or staying in a toxic environment. Not the a-hole, and you're almost 18. Maybe you should choose your own new name, first and last. Have it legally changed as soon as you can. I like that idea a lot, maybe even a new last name. If you get it done as close to 18 as possible, then you'll have a lot less paperwork to fill out or places to notify about your name change. If you're struggling with so many options, you can always start with your initials and see if anything fits as a starting point. Thanks for the advice. I'll do my best to make that happen ASAP. Not the a-hole. She's only all you have because she's withheld an entire side of your family from you. Why don't you try one of those ancestry DNA tests and see if you come up with any matches? She chose not to involve your father, but that doesn't mean he or his family wouldn't want the opportunity if given it now. Do your half-siblings know you didn't want your mom being so pushy? They don't care. They just straight up hate me and wish I was dead. When I'm a little older, I do want to look. Just to see, with zero expectations. Next story. Am I the a-hole because I won't delay having a hysterectomy after the birth of my baby so I can be a surrogate for my sister? I, 28 female, am having my 3rd and final child with my husband and have a scheduled C-section and hysterectomy planned. My period started when I was young, 9, and have been extremely painful, heavy, and very long ever since. I wasn't even sure if I could get pregnant with my issues, but I knew I wanted children, so I delayed having a hysterectomy when the option was first presented to me. It was worth it, but these extra years have been torture on my body. My sister, 31 female, is struggling with infertility. She's had fertility treatments, but nothing has worked for her yet. It has been suggested to her on more than one occasion that she consider a surrogate. She was very against it for a long time. In another situation, one where I didn't have all the health problems I do, I would have offered to be her surrogate because we're so close. But I need to be done. I don't know if I'll survive like this if I wait another couple of years or more so my sister can have kids. In December, my sister came right out and asked me not to have the hysterectomy yet and to be her surrogate so she could be a mother too. I told her I was so sorry, and if my body weren't giving me the hell it is, I'd do it for her, but I couldn't delay it any longer. She got upset but told me it was fine and she understood. I could tell it bothered her, but I didn't want to fight about it. Then Christmas came and my brother-in-law got involved. Our whole family was together on Christmas Day, and when everyone was busy, he asked to speak to me. He berated me for my selfishness, saying that if I loved my sister as much as I said, I delayed the procedure like I did for my own selfish reasons. My husband and mom heard him, and they stepped in to defend me. My husband told my brother-in-law to back off, saying nobody should ever be pressured into carrying a pregnancy. My mom said that emotions might be high around this, but it wasn't my fault, and he shouldn't attack me like that. Brother-in-law told them I broke my sister's heart, and he was mad at me for it. My mom reiterated that it wasn't my fault. The rest of Christmas Day was trained. Afterward, my sister told me she was sorry about her husband's behavior, but they were just so upset and felt robbed of having a baby biologically related to both of them. I told her I was so sorry and was here if she needed me. Brother-in-law later reached out and said my sister might be sorry, but he still thinks I'm incredibly selfish. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She's not entitled to your womb. It's terrible for her and her husband to pressure you. Right? Once again, brother-in-law attempts incredibly manipulative argument he doesn't realize works both ways. If they loved OP, they wouldn't be so incredibly selfish to demand this of her. Not the a-hole. Screw your brother-in-law. He wants you to risk your life and prolong medical complications to have a high-risk pregnancy because he and your sister don't want to adopt. Most women have a hard time getting a hysterectomy because doctors tell them they need to wait for various misogynistic reasons. The fact that it was suggested to you previously means you must really need the procedure to protect your health and life. They can find another surrogate. That's what it all boils down to. I know so many who struggle to get a doctor willing. I had 2 doctors who said I'd need to have one young. They've tried everything to help me avoid this, and nothing has worked or helped. Even the advice some doctors give, get pregnant, it'll fix things, didn't help me. Just because you aren't able to carry a child for them doesn't mean they don't have other options. They could find another surrogate. I mean, if it's her egg and his sperm, the child would still be biologically theirs, even if the surrogate isn't related. It's not like her being the surrogate changes their DNA, unless she also wanted you to supply the egg. Their refusal to accept or consider other options is what's selfish. They're not even considering the risks you'd face with another pregnancy. Anything could happen. There could be complications. Ensuring your health isn't selfish. You need to be there for your kids. I hope you get relief from your hysterectomy. That's actually something I'm still unclear about. I guess they were going to try with her eggs, but then with mine if it didn't work with hers. But that threw me off too. Not the a-hole. I've also given birth 3 times. And let me say this, your brother-in-law can buzz all the way off. How does he feel entitled to nearly a year of someone's pain and discomfort? I wouldn't even do it again for my own family, let alone for anyone else. I can't ever do this again either. My pregnancy itself isn't the worst part, but my body just isn't doing well with everything. I know the fact that I did this 3 times and delayed the procedure angers him so much. I think in his mind, this should be their baby, and then I should have been done, instead of having another child for me and my husband. But even if I had decided to stop at 2 and offered a few months ago, my sister would have said no. She was still holding out for something else to work. And really, it still could happen for them. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my sister-in-law have my kids in her family photo shoot? My sister-in-law, female 31, and I, female 26, have never gotten along, and we've rarely spoken to each other from the beginning. I've known her for 6 years, and after some wedding drama a few years ago, we completely stopped speaking. I've tried asking her to hang out before, but she always refused, so I eventually gave up. My husband and I have a 1.5-year-old twins. When I was pregnant, she made comments about how we were too young to have them, saying that your 30s are the best age for children, and yada yada yada. Now that she's in her 30s, she's announced that she doesn't want kids because they're too much work, and she's already focused on her dog. Cool, whatever. At first, she wanted nothing to do with her nephews and rarely came to see them. But recently, she's been a lot more involved with them, which would be fine if I didn't feel like she was overstepping boundaries. She won't speak to me but will always talk to my husband when it comes to the kids. If I'm holding one of my sons, she'll either take the one my husband is holding or wait until I leave to talk to them. It's like she goes out of her way to avoid me. For example, she'll call my husband and ask to take the twins almost every weekend to go somewhere far away. We settled on it once a month, which made her mad, but she got over it relatively quickly. She also wants them over once a week for dinner with her husband and dog. We allowed this, but she posted on her Instagram story a picture of them all with a caption, "Family Dinner." She jokingly refers to them as her sons, and once, when she dropped them back at our house, they were wearing t-shirts she got them that said, "Ants are as important as moms." The last straw was when she asked my husband to let her take the twins for a family photo shoot with her dog and husband, so she could post it on her wall and social media. Initially, he refused, and she threw a fit, saying we were toxic and withholding her family from her. I finally put my foot down and told her I don't mind if she wants to see them, but I feel really disrespected. A, she refuses to speak to me or treat me with basic respect while wanting access to my children. B, she acts like she's their mom when she isn't. I told her that if she wants kids so badly, she should have her own. She flew off the handle, called me a psycho, and has refused to speak to us since. She even had my mother-in-law call my husband to ask if she could bring the twins to her house so my sister-in-law could see them. My husband said no. Am I the a-hole? I don't want to be a controlling mom, and I don't want my relationship with my sister-in-law to affect my children. They generally enjoy hanging out with her, but I can't help feeling disrespected. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like your sister-in-law needs some professional help. The fact your husband is on board with you is great. Just be careful, as this sounds like too many other stories where things go wrong. Sounds like your sister-in-law needs some professional help. I agree. I think she's been coping about her decision to remain childless and is using my kids as a stand-in. I've suspected it for a while, but the family photo shoot thing really revealed it for me. As someone who's childless by choice, there's no coping to be had. You're just content with the life you've made for yourself, period. Even if you find out later you're barren, there's a period of weird grief and then relief. It sounds like she was more likely childless by choice, because it was cool or in until her friends started having kids, making her feel left out, and a social dynamic shifted. Or she might have known she couldn't have them, and a focus on being child-free was a front to cover her true feelings. Posting pictures of anyone's kids without express consent is already really inappropriate. Doubly so if the captions paint an inaccurate reality. Regardless, she needs help. But more importantly, your kids don't need to be around her, especially not unsupervised. There's nothing but red flags in this post. Go no contact with her, you and the kids. If you can't respect one of the parents, then you can't see the kids. That's what I was thinking, honestly. I just didn't want to be the mom who lets her own drama affect the children. But I also don't want to show them that it's okay for someone to talk to them while disrespecting me. Thank you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom my dad can't dance with me at my wedding when she told me she thought I'd ask my dad? My dad died when I, 29 female, was 10. My mom has been remarried since I was 14. Her husband is Mike. Mike's fine, but he is not my dad. He wanted to be when he married my mom, and she wanted that too, but I didn't. Because of that, there's an underlying tension surrounding my relationship with Mike. They both felt like I should have allowed him to take on a role of a dad to me, and they've always expressed disappointment that I was never open to that. Even though I get along just fine with Mike, it wasn't enough. He has no kids, so they felt like it was only right for a fatherless girl to let a childless man in, so we could both have that relationship. I bring all this up because I know how my mom feels. 2 weeks ago, Mike asked who I was walking down the aisle with. I said I'd be walking by myself. Then he asked who I'd choose for the father-daughter dance. I said I was considering whether I'd ask my mom or not. After this, my mom told me she thought I'd ask my dad to dance with me because that's tradition. I knew she was talking about Mike. She didn't mean my actual dad. But my reply was, my dad can't dance with me at my wedding, and I don't know how she thought that would work. My reply was not well received. My mom told me to stop being a brat and said I knew what she meant. I told her I was giving the most honest reply because my dad died when I was 10 and there's no possible way for me to dance with him. She told me she understood what I was doing and that it made me a brat. I told her not to worry. I'd ask her because this conversation helped me make up my mind. She told me I owed Mike an apology, and once I've finished apologizing to him, I owed her one as well. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's been 15 plus years. They should learn to take a hint. I've seen some women get a little locket photo holder to attach to their bouquet so that their parent can walk down the aisle with them in spirit if you want a way to honor your dad without being over the top about it. I put a locket with my dad's picture in my bouquet. I hope Opie does this. My cousin's kids had a small decorated area/table set up at the reception dedicated to relatives who had passed and couldn't be there that day. My mother was one of those honored, and I had no idea they were doing this. I was touched. I hadn't seen this done before. The idea of having a father-like relationship with your stepfather should be up to you and him alone. Your mother needs to stop trying to force the issue. Unfortunately, weddings have a way of bringing these issues to the forefront of people's minds. People need to be happy with the relationships they've built, not the ones they've made up in their heads. Now, mom won't be getting a dance either because she can't be rational. Seriously, when my sister found out I was eloping, she wanted to throw me a party with my half-sister and 2 cousins, women I'm not fond of and not at all close with. I scoffed and said, why the heck would I want to spend an evening with them? We barely contain our disdain for one another when I see them once every 3 to 5 years. She literally couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to throw a party with them because family. I was offended she even asked and told her so. My wedding or marriage isn't an opportunity for other people's egos or pretend family closeness nonsense.